We'll switch focus to Japan now, who I think in most people's eyes are heavy favourites coming into this tournament. They've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with Qatar and Doha in the past. Of course, they won the Asian Cup there in 2011. Of course, the agony of Doha in the 90s as well, did well at the World Cup last year as well. So what are you expecting this time around, Scott? Is it going to be more love or more hate, do you think, for Japan in Doha?
I don't know. A lot of the hate was a long time ago. A lot of the love was a long time ago as well. To be fair, I think as you said, they go in as one of the tournament favourites. For me, I think the clear tournament favourite. You look at the squad. I mean, this is it's not only one of the best Japanese squads that's ever been sent to an Asian Cup, but it's probably one of the best squads, period, that's ever been sent. I mean, you look at the quality of the players that missed out, and that's saying something. Daichi Kamada, who's in Italy, Al Tanaka, who's in Germany, Kyogo Furuhashi, who's doing very well in Celtic. These are the caliber of players that couldn't get into the Japan squad. I mean, they would be the star and the national captain, in 3/4 of the other squads at this tournament. So that's the depth. 20, I think it is, of the 26 players are based in Europe. If you set aside the keepers, only 3 J-League players. And that, again, we're talking about the strongest domestic league in Asia, where, a bulk of the nations at this tournament are drawing their squads extensively from the domestic league. So you've got Asia's best league that only feels it necessary to bring a handful of kind of outfield players to the tournament. So the squad is absolutely stacked. Players, whatever it is, 3 players in the Premier League, 3 players in the Bundesliga, players in Spain, the Netherlands, Belgium, playing and contributing. This is a historically good squad. As you guys know, my gripe with it all along has been with the coach, who I'm not a particular fan of, and the way that he sets the team out. They've been very good recently in terms of the friendly matches, dispatched kind of perhaps not a full strength Taiwan side, although Japan were far from full strength as well, in very convincing manner on New Year's Day. So they head in good form. As always, there'll be a pocket of Japanese supporters there to cheer them on. So everything is set up for Japan to go in and win this tournament. The thing that, I'm just repeating myself. As I said, I'd like to see them go in and really lay down a marker that they're not going into, kind of breeze through the group stage, then get into the perhaps trickier knockout stage matches and revert back into the shell, as we've seen so long and so often under Moriyasu, that they'll play a consistently positive brand of football throughout, because my belief is that Japan are one of the best nations, and not just in Asia, but one of the best nations in the world in terms of the technical qualities that they have available to them, not just in this squad, but I mentioned some of the names that missed out. And then you could come with a list of, 2 other 11s that would be good enough, in my opinion, to probably make the semi-finals of this tournament. So the raw ingredients are all there. I just would love to see the JFA, break out of this situation and have a really positive, attack-minded coach. That doesn't need to be necessarily a big name, but just someone who's encouraging Japan, regardless of the opposition, regardless of the location, regardless of the situation in a tournament or within matches or between matches, to come out and consistently play positively, because this is the way that kids are raised in this country to take players on. They're raised with fine technical skills and capabilities, and to see those qualities that Japanese football is not just the JFA, the J League, but I'm talking about local teams, school level teams, teams before kids go to school, right up and down across the country. It's skills based, it's attack based, and it's positivity based. And for me, that's the DNA of football in Japan, which I think has been lost. It's easy to remember the results that they achieved. You said that was, love results in Qatar. Maybe it was, I don't know, a little bit of love and a little bit of a, kind of cheating on the side somehow, because they got the results, sure, but they didn't get them in the style that I think a lot of Japanese fans prefer to see. And ultimately, they didn't win the World Cup, and that should be their aim and their goal. So this Asian Cup, they go in as favourites, absolutely no question, and I think they'll win the tournament, and I think they'll win it easily. But that a lot of that depends on Moriyasu, and if he is to play conservatively when it gets to, say, the quarters, then yeah, it's not beyond the realm that Japan could stumble. The clear strengths of the squad, as they often have been for Japanese squads, are in the central midfield positions, the advanced forward positions through the middle. I still have questions, actually big questions. Actually, talk about it in goal. Curious selection of a guy in Taishi Brandon Nozawa, who, I don't know, he's probably not J1 level. I'm not quite sure what he's doing in this. Well, that's a bit of a left field one. And defensively, I think there's still a few concerns and issues. We've talked about it previously, what to do at left back as well. So they can be got at defensively, but they're so good, particularly at this level, in terms of just the sheer strike power that they have, that they should have the capabilities to blow teams away. Now it's down to Moriyasu and how he sets them up.
Indeed. Ask this of Steve Hahn, which we'll hear on tomorrow's podcast when we talk about South Korea, Michael. But I spoke to him about Lee Kang-in and perhaps having a breakout tournament. And Lee Kang-in and Takefusa Kubo have been the sort of the starlets of Asian football that have been coming up for a long while now. Come up through the youth ranks in Spain and have been talked about as the next big things in Asian football. We're starting to see them blossom now in their club careers. Ikang in PSG now, Kuba at Real Sociedad. Same question to you. Is this the tournament that Kuba really announces himself as not only a genuine star of this team, but a genuine star of Asian football and really takes Asian football by storm? Are you expecting a big tournament from him?
Yeah, I think I am. I think as you mentioned, Lee Kang-in and the two players have sort of risen in parallel, haven't they? They've got very similar backgrounds in terms of their grounding in Spanish football and coming through academies. Kang-in obviously coming through at Valencia and Kubo coming through Barcelona and then latterly going on to Real Madrid. Look, we talked about this a little while ago. During, I think it was after the World Cup qualifiers, those matches in November. I think Kubo is now at a place where he will be the dominant creative force in this team. He should be. He's certainly been showing that with Real Sociedad, that he's at another level compared to the players around him. And I think, if you watch him in action, I think he has characteristics and traits that remind me of the great Hidetoshi Nakata in terms of how he can unlock defenses, how he can run up opposing teams, how he sees things that maybe other players don't see. And I think now, at the age of, what is he, 22 now, and I think now is the time to see that him sort of take the team, not necessarily by the scruff of the neck, but certainly to be the dominant force in the team, and to actually do something that Nakata never did, which is win the Asian Cup. Because of course Nakata, despite the fact that he won the Asian Player of the Year twice and remains an icon of the Asian game, never actually played at the Asian Cup, which is always one of the things that surprises a lot of people when they look back and realize, given his status, that he never actually played in this competition. So, I think we'll see. Kubo step it up. I think he'll take charge of this team. But he has, as Scott has said, he has a great supporting cast. There is so much creative depth and talent in that attacking third for the Japan team that, whether it's Ritsu Doan, whether it's Takumi Minamino, whether it's Junya Ito, whether it's Kaoru Mitoma, it's got grimaces at the mere mention of Junya Ito, but he brings something to the team that nobody else on the team does, because he's got raw
the ability to go to the byline and cross without looking.
But he does something other players can't do in that team. He's got raw pace and he runs at teams, and he worries, he scares defenders. Whether he's a great player or not is another issue entirely. But he scares opposition defenders. But Kubo, look, I'm a massive fan. He's someone who has been talked about since he was in his early teens as being the future of Japanese football, and I think we might be about to see that start to really come to fruition in Qatar.
Yeah, but again, man, this is a guy that it's maybe only been 6 to 12 months since he's been a regular. This is the issue. He did the same thing with Mitoma when it was obviously should have been in. Kubo, it's obviously should have been in, but it's not the way it is anyway. We'll wait and see how that all plays out when they get to the quarters.